Welcome to the Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital One Group, LLC. Eric Willner, president of Capital One Group, LLC, is a highly trained financial professional. He helps clients to develop strategies for effectively utilizing real estate, mortgages, and related financial products to achieve a more secure financial future. For the real estate investor or the home buyer, he's able to provide expertise in matching the right properties and financing with your specific financial objectives. This show is dedicated to helping you find the safe and simple approach to buying income-producing real estate. If you have any questions about the program or to arrange a consultation, call toll-free 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Now, today's edition of The Real Estate Show.
And hello, South Florida. Welcome to another live edition of The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program all about real estate, and America's longest running daily radio show all about the topic of real estate. We talk about the mortgages, we talk about the properties, we talk about everything real estate, including the management, the absolute backbone of a solid and profitable real estate business. And we've been talking about all sorts of things lately, from the tangible to the intangible aspects of real estate. We got a great program for you today. I want to talk a bit about the other half of the equation. We always talk about finding the properties and finding motivated sellers. And yesterday, I think we did something that was really cool and very important, which was a self-assessment. And I really appreciate the feedback that I got, both in terms of phone calls and emails in regards to the self-assessment. If you missed yesterday's program, you can catch that program on our Facebook website. There's an incredible amount of information on that website. It allows you to hear our previous programs at your own schedule because they're archived up there on the Facebook. So if you just go to facebook.com/The Real Estate Show with Eric Willner, you'll find the list of the shows in, I guess, reverse chronological order, because the most recent one will be at the top, the second most recent one will be down below that. And yesterday we did a program on a self-assessment, sort of talking about what it is that and where you are at this point. And I did that on purpose because it was the beginning of the month. We're now looking at those months that are covered already are in the can, so to speak, and then now we've got the future. What are we going to do with the rest of the year? Are you on track? So that self-assessment was designed for you to take it to be extremely brutally honest with yourself and ask those questions. What is your engagement? What is your real engagement in real estate? Besides listening to some programs, attending a few workshops, or the local real estate club in the area, what do you do in between? Or is that just pure entertainment? What is your activity out there? Are you doing calls? Are you visiting houses? Are you making offers? What's your ability to find leads? And it was an honest assessment. And then we talked about other things such as, once you find the leads, how do you convert the leads? How do you contact the sellers? How are you doing there? Do you understand contracts and terms? And by the way, we're going to do some in-depth coverage of contracts, some key and vital clauses to the contracts in the coming weeks. And we're going to talk about the terms. And then, what was the last thing? It was, do you feel comfortable? Do you know how to market a property? And I'll tell you that, from the assessments that came in, it gave me a great idea of what things that I need to cover, what things that need to be, gone into more depth so that we can help out our listeners out there. And of course, remember, we're always here to help you out in a case of finding a great property, managing a great property, or managing a not so great property and turning it into a great property, or in how to get rid of a property. If you have a property that you haven't been able to sell, send it our way. We'll give it a good analysis. We'll give it a good diagnosis, and we'll either help you sell it or maybe we'll buy it ourselves. So the analysis, the self-assessment, which I think is very important. It was very important for me to hear and understand what it is that you need, and then it also, I think, for yourself, it brings a great deal of clarity on the areas that maybe you need to work on if you're looking at investing in real estate. And of course, the last thing that you might consider is that if those areas are a challenge to you, then maybe you should have someone else do it for you. And that's a product. It's a product. It's a service that we offer where we go out and we do all the grunt work and the groundwork of finding the hidden gems in the marketplace that are not in the MLS. We go out and find motivated sellers before they manifest their motivation to the rest of the people, and then we put those properties under contract, under very favorable contracts, whether it be in terms of price or in terms of terms. So that we can do for you, and then manage the property. All you have to do is put up the investment. And then we even have some partnerships where we have folks that are bringing us properties, and then we work out an arrangement with them too, even if they want to earn some money or maybe even own a piece of the property in the process. So there's a lot of different ways. What you have to do is you have to give us a call, and let me give out the phone number. The toll-free number to reach us is 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. So, what we were trying to get to yesterday was, what do you feel is blocking you from owning more real estate? This program is about owning more real estate, making more money, and having more free time. So what is it that's blocking you? And that self-assessment ought to be helping you to do that. Or is it just something completely different? A lot of people talk about it in terms of fear. What if I can't find a good deal? What if I can't find a good tenant? What if, and that's definitely the areas that we can help you out. And we certainly can be part of your team, either doing it all for you or in doing certain pieces of it or coaching you how to do certain pieces of it. What we try to do is we try to keep it very simple. If you listen to this program, we break it down into very easy to understand chunks, and then we teach it in those forms. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for someone to guide you, maybe hold your hand, maybe partner on the first deal that you do, we can certainly help you out to do that. For a lot of people, after they look at everything, they figure that it's easier not to do it. And of course, there's no benefit in not doing it, but it's easier not to do it. And many people take the easy path out. For some folks, it's a lack of focus. And that's where I think we can bring a lot of clarity to the picture. Self-assessments, like what we talked about yesterday, bring a lot of clarity to the picture. Systems that we have, automated, programmed, step-by-step systems, bring a lot of focus to that. And other people, last week we talked about our city market X-ray. And because one of the biggest dilemmas that a lot of investors who are actually gung-ho in getting started, but they don't know where to start. How do you choose the right area? And we have a formula and a method to do that. After all, we've been doing this for 17 years here on the air, 30 years in the marketplace. We got our scars, we got our nicks and bruises, but more importantly, we got our systems down, we got them pat. And that's what's important. Product knowledge, whether it be the knowledge of the market, the type of the property, the construction, all of the elements that go in there, we have it. And then what we do, and in particular when we talk about coaching or mentoring, then to be able to bring to you self-discipline. A lot of times we will pay to have self-discipline delivered, and that's something that we can do with the right program there. And then of course, in the end, once you overcome all those things, then really it's just a matter of setting the goals, putting together a plan, and then executing that plan. And they say that knowledge is power, but we have modified that since to talk about that knowledge is potential power, and it's great potential power, but knowledge plus action is what is really power. So give us a call. The toll-free number to reach us is 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. So that's kind of a recap of where we are and where we were. And what we want to do now is take a quick break, hear a few words from our sponsors. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page at The Real Estate Show with Eric Willner on Facebook for all of our past events, some articles, and some really cool stuff. We'd love for you to give us a thumbs up and like our page, become a follower, and stay up to date and in tune with our daily radio show. So when we come back, we're going to talk about finding the buyer, which is an important part of the real estate process. So don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Real Estate Show with Eric Willner, and I'll be right back.
I said, damn, this traffic jam. Well, there you are, sitting in traffic like thousands of other motorists listening to Eric Willner's Real Estate Show. Here's a thought. If you're listening, so are potential customers and clients. Radio advertising works. So become an advertiser or sponsor guest on Eric's show. Get your message heard. Call 1-888-595-7779. That's 1-888-595-7779. Your customers and clients are waiting to hear from you. Said, damn, this traffic jam. Call 1-888-595-7779.
Hello, listeners. This is Eric Willner, your host of The Real Estate Show. Exciting news. We now have a Facebook page. Now, this is an opportunity for us to share with you photos and videos and interviews and lots more information on a regular basis on our Facebook page. But to make it really exciting, we want your input. We want your comments, and most of all, we want your likes. And that will make us a much better radio show, and our Facebook page will be a real resource for you. So check us out at facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. That's facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. And give us a thumbs up.
Today's real estate market is full of questions. Eric Willner and Capital One Group LLC have the answers. Call today for a no-obligation consultation and get the facts. 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. You'll learn the safe and simple approach to buying income-producing real estate. And you'll find out how to get the right real estate investments for your specific investment objectives. Plus, you'll have immediate access to cutting-edge mortgage and financing products. Be sure to ask about free property management on select investment properties. Call today for your no-obligation consultation and get the facts. 888-595-7779. Toll free, 888-595-7779.
Are you paying for a home that is losing value every month? Do you owe $400,000 and your home is worth only $300,000 and still dropping? Do you want to know more about what the government is doing to help you? You have options. Don't just give up or walk away. Know your rights. Fight back. Fistel Law Firm can help you. Call for a free consultation today. 954-522-1212. 954-522-1212. Or on the web, fistel.com.
This is The Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital One Group LLC in Boca Raton, with your host, Eric Willner. If you have any questions about the broadcast, call toll-free, 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Now, back to today's show.
And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, you are listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate, and America's longest-running daily radio show program about real estate, now entering our 17th consecutive year through the good times and the bad times. So come hail or sleet or rain or snow, whatever it may be that the economy may throw at us, we have been steady and steadfast in trying to be, a steady beacon of information for you, the real estate investor. And of course, information that we use for the real estate investor, if the homeowner applies it and uses it, then it only makes the experience of owning real estate all that much better. So one of the things that we spend, or I should say, we spend a lot of time on the aspect of real estate, which is finding the right buyer, finding the right property, finding the right location. And then, of course, along that was, creating the right terms for acquiring property. But then what happens, and for many people, that is the big fear. What happens once I own the property? What happens if I can't find a buyer? And there's a number of different ways. And of course, you'll often hear me say that a property that is well marketed and properly priced will always sell. And everything will sell at some price. So the question then becomes, what is the proper marketing? How is the pricing? We talked about pricing before. It's very much similar to how we talk about pricing properties when we buy them. But let's talk a little bit about pricing them when we go to sell them on another program. What I want to talk about today is, what do you do when you have a property, and assuming that you priced it properly, the next thing you have to do is start marketing the property. And frankly, if you decide that you're going to go into the real estate business, one of the things that you can do is take a good look at your own address book. Who in your address book is sympathetic to real estate? Who in your own address book identifies or talks about real estate, or is open to a real estate conversation? And so that's the beginning of what we call building your buyer's list. And you want to build this list in writing. And yes, your address book is in writing, but I'm talking about building a separate list. And in fact, we go so far as we've built a website strictly for buyers. And if you want to see what that one looks like, we have it. It's called MACK, M-A-C-K, sellshouses.com, MACSellsHouses.com. And who would look at MACSellsHouses.com? Well, buyers would. And so there's a place where buyers can come in there, put their name and their email address. We're not going to call them. We're not going to pester them. But it's an ability for them to get alerts when we have properties available for sale. And it builds up a list so that when we have really hot properties, we can also go out and email them the details on our newest and latest properties. So running ads to direct people to that website is one way of building that website. Going to your own address book is another way. And then, of course, putting ads in all of the different places, your Craigslist, your back pages, and in other places, having signs that are either in the form of park benches, bus stop benches, having signs put out on poles, having the kind of magnetic signs that people have on your car. I mean, literally, billboards, anywhere that you have a sign directing information and attracting people who tend to buy real estate, and then you direct them to a website like that, because that automates the process. And capturing and having that list of buyers is key, because if you have a strong buyers list of people who are already anxious and waiting to buy real estate, then you can locate properties and know that you have a hungry crowd. It's like opening a restaurant. You want to open it not in the prettiest building, not in the prettiest location. You want to open it where there is the most hungry people, and that's what we're looking to do that. So by directing buyers to a place where we can accumulate them, we also have now the ability to act with those buyers. Now, there are lots of places where you can buy buyers lists, and you can actually acquire those. Now, of course, there's a cost, but there are lists of buyers who buy certain types of real estate or in certain areas. You know, we'll go into one day why Florida, because, you know, I got a list of at least 10 reasons why Florida is probably one of the easier places to be buying real estate. And so certainly makes it all that much easier to do that here in South Florida. But there's a lot of great and very desirable areas. In fact, you know, where there's a huge demand is where it's desirable. So whether you're near a large metropolitan area, a beautiful resort area, a tropical, a geographically desirable area, there's lots of reasons why people would want to buy. Now, another technique that a lot of people overlook, for example, is watching other ads. If you look in the local newspaper, yeah, people still actually, you know, advertise in the classifieds in the local newspaper. You've got Craigslist. You've got these bandit signs that you see on the side of the road. And those are people who say, I buy houses cash. Well, they buy houses cash. So you find a good deal. You've got a buyer out there that already raised their hand and said, hey, look, I'll buy your property. Now, it's got to be a good deal, and they want to pay the right price. But those are usually run by cash buyers, who are people who don't need to go into the aspect of financing. And that's why you also want to classify your buyers list to see, you know, which ones are your cash buyers, which one are your financed buyers, so that you make sure that the ones that are getting financing have their financing qualifications up to date. You know, there are other companies out there, and particularly in the last 5 or so years, 5 to 7 years, there are a lot of hedge funds that have come out and are now buying individual residential properties. So finding out who they are and what they buy is a great way to have a ready, willing, and anxious, able buyer waiting for you. And you got to get that information and keep track of that information. You got companies like the big billboards that you see, I buy ugly houses. They buy houses. In fact, they take big billboards to tell you that they buy houses at good prices. So there's another way. If you were to go down to the courthouse on any given day when they're having the foreclosure sales and the auctions, or any kind of auctions for that matter, whether it be the sheriff's auctions, whether they be any other type of sale going on, you could pick up the names and introduce yourself to those people. Those, after all, are serious buyers that are out there with the intention of buying real estate. And then the next thing you can do is take a look at the recent MLS sales. Look at the properties that have sold, and you can now go look up who bought those. It's public records, public information. It's just a little bit of homework and a little bit of work. Now, what I have found is that most people won't do that extra little bit of work, and therefore makes our job even a little bit easier, because the competition thins out when there's a little bit of extra work to do. So there are a number of different ways that you can explore and find out different buyers that are actively out there in the marketplace. I mean, look at our marketplace now. Sales are on the rise. They've been on the rise for a long time. So much so is that inventory has come down dramatically over the last couple of years, and the number of buyers are growing because they're becoming more confident. The farther away we go from that great economic turmoil, and it wasn't just real estate, it was everything. So more people are now realizing that real estate tends to be one of the pillars of the economy. Real estate tends to be one of the more steady areas and one of the safer investments, especially if you follow our mantra. Remember, it's cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. So if you make sure that you adhere to those rules of real estate that we talk about in our program frequently, then even in an economic downturn, even in a soft market, you're going to find out that real estate will treat you very well. If you treat real estate like a business, like I often say, it will pay you like a business. So just to run down the list again, run ads out there, the typical way that anybody would sell a real estate property. Most realtors, that's what they do. They put a sign in the yard. We talk about the 3 Ps that most realtors do. And make sure you get a real estate agent that does more than that. But they put a sign in the yard, they put the property in the MLS, and then they go home and pray. And so the ability to go out there and properly market, run ads and build a buyer's list. In fact, why don't you ask your realtor, does the realtor have a buyer's list? Do they have a national buyer's list? Do they have a state buyer's list? Or do they have an international buyer's list? And that makes a big difference. And do they have it? Do they track it? Do they keep it together? And do they stay in contact and communication? Again, if you want to be on our buyer's list, then go to MACK, M-A-C-K, sellshouses.com, and you'll start to see the communications that we send out on a fairly regular basis. We try not to over email our list because we don't want them to get tired of our stuff, but we keep them up to date on things and developments in the real estate market. We keep them up to date with when great properties come on board, and as a result of that, it's a great relationship that we have, and we have a good buyers list. And again, if you would like to get information about and be on the buyers list, go to macsellshouses.com. Then, of course, there are the lists that you can buy out there in order to acquire a list of known real estate buyers. There is other ads to watch. Watch your competitors' ads. If they're out there looking to buy houses, well, call them up and tell them you have something to sell. And of course, put us on your buyers list. We're always looking to buy property. We want to be on your buyers list as well. And then, of course, there's all the other companies, the auction people, et cetera, et cetera. Again, anyway, if you want to get more information and see how perhaps you could work with us to help you earn more profits, own more real estate, and have more free time, give us a call toll free at 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. That's it for today. We'll be back again tomorrow. We hope you enjoyed the Real Estate Show. Don't forget to listen to our rebroadcast on our Facebook page at The Real Estate Show with Eric Willner. Until then, drive safe and make it a great day.
Thanks for listening to The Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital One Group LLC in Boca Raton. Eric Willner and Capital One Group LLC are available to assist you with your financial needs. If you have any questions about today's program or to arrange a consultation, call toll-free at 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. And join us every day at the same time right here on AM 740 WSBR, South Florida's Money Talk Radio.